Revit and Util Plastic, from home and back. Revit collects and selects materials intended for recycling. Thanks to its logistical network and plants, it receives material derived from the separate collection of materials such as glass, plastic, steel and aluminium cans, multi-layered packaging such as Tetra Pak. About 235 out of 287 municipal authorities in Tuscany are served by us. The collection in the various areas is carried out using different methods. Bell containers, bins, and door-to-door collection. When they arrive at our plants, the trucks unload the material inside the warehouse, and it is here that the first conveyor belt is loaded by filling a pit below ground level. The conveyor belt carries the material into a rotary drum filter system with two orders of selection. The first takes place through holes with a diameter of less than 50 millimeters to eliminate fine glass and organic waste, which are collected in a special basin. A second selection is through rectangular windows, which allow the material to move along the line. The material that remains, that is, the bulky material, is accumulated in a special collection basin. The cabin pre-selection is carried out by operators, and its function is to separate off bulky or pollutant wastes, as well as to open any plastic bags produced by door-to-door collection. The separation of metallic material, on the other hand, takes place by means of a permanently magnetized crossband. The metallic material is accumulated in other collection basin and then sent on for recycling. The separation of the part composed of plastic, Tetra Pak and aluminium takes place by means of a dual system of suction. The glass is carried towards a manual selection cabin and collected in a special basin, from where it is then directed towards the following stage, where it undergoes further processing in preparation for recycling. The part that is removed by suction, plastic, aluminium and Tetra Pak, is treated by a cyclonic system and deposited onto a conveyor belt. It then undergoes further selection by means of an inductive current in order to separate off the aluminium, which is then sent for recycling. The two remaining parts, that is the plastic and the Tetra Pak, are carried to a further selection plant situated in an adjacent warehouse by means of a pneumatic system. A conduit transports the plastic and the Tetra Pak to a special plant, the loading of which takes place through the filling of a pit below the level of the ground. A machine rips open the plastic bags, releasing the contents, which are carried to a rotary drum filter, which also has 2 orders of selection. The first selection is by means of holes of a small diameter for the fine glass and the residual organic wastes. The second uses rectangular windows to collect the material which proceeds along the line. The material continues until it reaches a press which crushes the packaging so as to prevent it from rolling along the conveyor belt, where there is a recognition station which functions by means of an optical Tetra Pak scanner. The plastic, on the other hand, passes through a ballistic filter system which removes the plastic bags. Revit and Utilplastic, from home and back. For 50 years, Utilplastic has been producing plastic household items, mainly made of polyethylene and polypropylene. Over the last few years, we have been working on a plan to produce a range of items made from material collected using domestic separate waste collection, material which would otherwise be used for energy recovery or disposal in dumping grounds. The material received by Revit is used to produce a compound created by Utilplastic. The material, which is obtained by using a system of aspiration and mixing which ensures quality and quantity monitoring and consistency of the compound, is automatically transported to the presses. When this material arrives at the press, other additives and colorings are added depending on the product. The material is fed into a melting chamber and, when it reaches a preset temperature, it is forced by a high-pressure system into the molds which produce the shaped pieces. Control of all of the various molds is managed by a computer-assisted system as a guarantee of quality and repeatability. The molded pieces are cooled by a dedicated refrigerator installed on the machine, which makes it possible to choose selected temperatures. Each piece is unloaded using a robot-assisted system, which takes it from the machine and labels it. It is then placed on a conveyor belt, where it can be cooled definitively without risk of damage. At this point, the piece is ready for quality control, packaging and shipment. In this way, the cycle is closed. We have reused urban waste that would otherwise have been destined for energy recovery or disposal in dumping grounds. We have shown that a correct separate waste collection system can deliver tangible, effective results with economic and environmental advantages, producing a range of products for the house, for the garden, for cleaning and for storage. Reproduced in Tuscany, functional objects guaranteed by a strict quality control procedure in all phases of the production process. Reproduced in Tuscany, objects that are useful and reliable for the customer and for the environment. Revit and Utilplastic, from home and back.